Namaste and greetings, my beautiful queens, my beautiful kings, my beautiful souls. Today, in this video, I will share with you the part of my book, this book for those of you who, of course, know me long enough, which is called The Devil or Conversation with the Devil, or 15th Arcana. The thing is that today was a happier day. In last 2 weeks it was so hard. When my mom actually went to the garden, was breathing fresh air, and she was standing there under the sun with her right hand, of course, covered with all of these bandages and things, but she was able to water her strawberries and spend some time outside. It was such a victory. So thank you so very much for your donations. A million times thank you for your donations. And as I already said, we're doing the rituals with you. We'll keep doing it through December. For your wishes, for your warm wishes, for your prayers, for everything. As you can see, it's giving results. But also something not very pleasant happened to me, and this is how I am ending up reading you this part, because this part, Devil 15th Arcana, part of my book, which I first published in the year of 2018 when I was working on on the book, and since then it was stolen, literally not hundreds of times, but thousands of times. But I wasn't able to capture all of the cases when this part was stolen, because among the tarot readers, among the esoterics, this became a huge thing. But the problem is people were literally stealing this part and publishing it as their own and getting all the credits for that. And I honestly don't have time to watch, when it's done. We have billions of people on internet. But yesterday I got a message from a friend of mine telling me, Allah, your devil is again been stolen. Here is the source. Here is the where it is. And of course it was published there under a different name, with no my name or a name of anything connected to me. So it was a little sad, of course. But when my mom looked at my face and she said, what happened? I said, the devil was stolen again. And she's like, what it is. I said, that's a part of a book. And she insisted me to read it to her. She didn't read my whole book. I read several pieces to her, and when I read it to her, she did not believe it was written by me. No, she did not believe it. And after finally she did believe, she told me, she asked me, did you read this part on your channel to your subscribers, to your queens? I said, I know I haven't. I was going to, but no, those my beautiful queens, they can read it in my book. And she said, no, you have to read it by pieces, maybe once a week, maybe once in like 2 weeks, but read pieces of it with your own voice. And after I read it to her, she said, please, I'm not gonna call you, I'm sitting here watching TV, please go and read this piece to your queens and kings. And here I am. So I'm reading you just a part of the chapter, Devil, the 15th Arcana. So close your beautiful eyes, relax, and you will not just hear me, but you will see it yourself. One night, after spending another long evening studying the 15th Arcana, the Devil, I fell asleep at around 3 in the morning, still holding the card in my hand. the next thing I find myself in a magnificent, huge library in an old castle. 3 walls are covered with tapestries and decorated with works of famous artists. A huge fireplace occupies the center of the fourth wall, built of sooty stone with ancient weapons all over it. Friendly fire is burning and crackling. The reddish, uneven light of the fire and yellow glow of wax candles in heavy candelabras illuminate the room. I am sleeping, and this is all my dream, I think to myself, looking around. Yes, definitely a dream. I see ceramic and stone figurines on the black marble mantelpiece, small figures of gods and deities of different lands and times. And everywhere you rest your eyes, there are books, books and more books. Their gilded bindings, made of soft old leather, speak of antiquity and the secrets and knowledge they keep. They are tempting, calling for me, whispering my name. I walk past them, gently touching their bindings with my fingertips. An irresistible scent of mystery fills the air. I carefully pick up one book, sit down in an armchair, and am about to open it, but suddenly, hearing a rustle, I raise my eyes. I see a man with huge silvery gray wings standing in front of me. He is naked down to the waistline and looks like the statue of David by Michelangelo. His skin is a honey hue, and I can see fireplace flame and candle reflections in it. His raven-colored hair falls in waves below his shoulders. The almost perfect features of his face make him look very masculine and courageous. Somehow I understand that he can be harsh at times and maybe even cruel. But his beautifully defined lips soften his face. He smiles as I meet his gaze. Oh gods, these eyes! You have to possess some incredible willpower to not lose yourself and know the remnants of your will and reason just by looking into those bottomless oceans, these dark, powerful eyes. So royal, so unbelievable, so mesmerized. They call, they beckon. Here is the real danger. His eyes. I hope I have not scared you, he says in a velvety, smooth, low voice. I take a deep breath, trying to pull myself together, come back to my senses, and calm down my frantically beating heart. 15th Arcana. The devil, I think to myself. But how can he be so beautiful? Why is he so insanely beautiful? Did you think I would be an ugly monster with horns and streams of human blood all over me? I hear his sarcastic voice. He can read my mind and hears my thoughts. I realized not only my thoughts, but also my feelings and emotions. Well, what else did I expect? After all, he is the devil. You know, it is absolute nonsense, he continued. When people portray me like that, it's nonsense. But I do not mind. After all, it is not me they paint as a beast, but their own fears. To look deep inside yourself takes much courage. Not everyone has it. But when I come into their lives, I make them do it. I make them leave their comfort zone. I make them choose. They have the right to choose. I sincerely thank you for coming, I said, tittling my head slightly. I would like to talk to Hierophant as well. I don't understand him much. Hierophant? Oh boy, but you can't stand him. Why would he come? He answered me with a laugh. You are right, he is not my favorite. All his dogmas and rules, I must understand him anyway, but mostly I want to understand you. Tell me what you are, who you are, why you have come. I will, Fire Soul. I'll tell you what I can, but I not everything. A lot of things you will have to understand and feel yourself. And he sank onto the fluffy carpet, folding his luxurious wings. Do you remember what happened to Adam and Eve and how it all was turned upside down? I guess this is a habit of people. They like to turn everything upside down and blame somebody else for their own deeds. The truth is, I wanted people to have knowledge. Knowledge. They have the right to knowledge. They contain the same essence, same source as their creator, with knowledge of good and evil. They could discern one from another. I wanted them to live like gods, which they are in their very nature. They have a right to make their own choices. I am against slavery, any slavery, even if imposed with good intentions. A man must be free and choose his own path. But in order to know, it is necessary to stop being an obedient sheep. It is necessary to leave the Garden of Eden. For each man and a woman, this would be a different place. To know, you need to take the thorny path. I wanted them to know. I still do. Yes, I remember that, I answered him. And I completely agree with you. But sometimes your methods, especially when it comes to love, it seemed like against my own will. My eyes became fixated on his lips. I could not help it. I felt millions of butterflies fluttering their wings inside me. I wonder what the tastes of those lips is, I thought to myself, but suddenly realized what exactly was going on. What a devil! Hey, stop that! I almost yelled. trying to sound angry and annoyed. "Stop. What?" he asked, gently touching my cheek with his fingertips and taking my breath away. All I wanted at that moment was to close my eyes so his touch would last forever. By the force of my will, I made myself open my eyes and look straight into his bottomless oceans. "Stop it!" I tried to make my voice as firm as possible. But unfortunately, it didn't sound like that. And we both knew it. Well, I knew who I was dealing with. Nothing to be surprised at. "But if I stop," he said quietly, in almost a whisper, "how will you understand who I am and why I come into the lives of people, especially in love? After all, I am directly connected with love, with karmic love to be exact. Explain it to me with words. No need to demonstrate," I said, trying to make my voice not sound disappointed. But he knew, and he understood everything. After all, he was the devil. "Are you afraid?" he whispered, bringing his face close to mine, up to the point I felt the heat coming from him, and the butterflies fluttered their wings inside of me again. "Yes, I am," I answered. "You cannot hide anything from him anyway. What is the point in lying?" "Fine," he answered. "Let me know if you change your mind." And he crossed his arms over his chest. "I have many shades," he continued. "A lot of shadows. Therefore, defining me is not easy. Even if you ask about love, I can have many variations. Suppose I come to a man or a woman who is married. This marriage can be, for example, many years old. Everything has settled down into a mundane, everyday gray routine. Love, passion, and unity of souls no longer exist. Nothing. Life together is a duty, obligation, a habit, a tradition, society's rules, and the things they jointly own. Everything but love. On the outside, such marriages appear to be fine, even perfect. The more miserable the people are, the more perfect they try to look for others. But behind closed doors, nothing but emptiness remains. People who once loved each other now barely talk, or even worse, they quietly hate each other. They feel trapped in a cage with no apparent way out. Finally, they just give up and go with the flow, forgetting who they are, what they really want, and why they came to this planet and into this physical embodiment. Their soul development stops. The flowing water in the mountain river turns into a stagnant swamp. That is unacceptable. At this moment, I bring love into their lives. Such love can be of all kinds and colors. It depends on the spiritual level of the person. For some reason, people constantly make a mistake believing that I bring only deceitful love, love which is untrue or false, but that is not always right. I also bring karmic love, and it is eternal and indeed true. However, it can have many shades and hues. And then people have a choice. They can reject this new, false, or true love. By rejecting it, they might see the person they have been living out of a habit for many years in a new light. They might discover her or him all over again. They might fall in love after many years of both forgetting the meaning of this word. In this case, who can ever say that I did something evil? Just the opposite. I brought the opportunity for their emotions and feelings to go through the fire of temptations, betrayals, and disappointments, and be reborn with beautiful love like a phoenix from the ashes. Love which before seemed lost. He again gently touched my cheek. I admire you, fiery soul, he said. You are something else. You had the courage and even dared to call for me. Did I call for you? I was surprised. Yes, you have been calling me for a long time, trying to understand me from the book's descriptions. You often used to think, I wish you could tell me who you are yourself. So I responded to your call, unable to resist your courage and charm and thirst for knowledge and the truth. But you know how they portray me. What if I showed up to you just like that, as a beast? I shrugged. I do not know why, but I have never seen you that way. You are the shadow that leads to the light. Without knowing the shadow, it is impossible to go out to the light. But in the love you bring, there is a lot of pain and suffering. That's right, my brave one. But would you really understand what you understand now? And would you know what you know now if you hadn't experienced such love? No, I answered after a moment of silence. You see, people say no pain, no gain. They are right about that. Finding the truth is never easy. Finding yourself is even harder. But this is what must be done. What is your name? Don't you know? Lucifer. It means the light bringer. Lucy, light. Pharaoh, to carry. Light bringer, light carrier. Before the church turned me into a monster, people compared me to the morning star and the planet Venus. In the symbology of tarot cards, I am the shadow and the light that you find in yourself and every human. Yes, the love I bring is never easy, far away from being easy. But through the shadow, through trials, through fears and doubts, I force people to stand face to face with themselves. Tell me more. I could listen to you forever. Careful. Oh, yes, you are putting me off my guard. I am a master of that. Good, keep on listening. In love, I make people lose their minds. And you know very well that to find your true essence, you need to lose your mind first. It is necessary to disconnect the rational and trust your inner truth. I make people feel desire so strong that they overshadow the voice of a reason. It is a fatal passion, but here lies a very thin line. A man must be very strong in order not to lose himself. I will help a person understand whether this love is ancient and true, a real one, or a trap, a fraud, a lie, an emotional addiction, tyranny. Through such love, I make people look deeply into the eyes of their own souls, really deeply. Because often that's what most people are afraid of, themselves. Most people keep on running from themselves for their entire lives. Sometimes with such love, I make a man or a woman fully submit to the will of the other. This relationship is toxic. It can burn. Sometimes both people are obsessed with each other. Other times, only one is obsessed with the other and can neither live, nor exist, nor breathe without the other. To keep the other nearby, they will use anything possible. Blackmail, betrayal, jealousy, manipulation, threats, anything. This is obsession. I can bring unhappiness and suffering, a shadow. But if you think that I come to the weak ones, oh no, never to the weak. You know very well what it feels like to deal with me. Yes, I know, I sure do. I have experienced your strength myself. You have burned me until no more than a handful of ashes was left. It's true. But what happened after that? I survived. I was born again. I have risen like a phoenix. Exactly. But this was an unbearable test, excruciating. I would not wish this on my worst enemy. It's true, but this is the experience. This is the shadow through which we go towards the light, our own inner light. I will make a person walk away from society rules, religion, culture, and system. But as I said before, I do not come to the weak, and most often, I do not come on my own free will. What do you mean? I mean, my fiery soul. I am karma. I am fate. As I said, I'm not always and not necessarily vicious. They often interpret me like that. But you do know this is not how things really are. The truth is, most of the time, I just have to be the karmic, inevitable evil. In most cases, I appear in the lives of those who need to repay their old debts to Mother Karma. She's the one who knows no mercy. I am just a servant of hers. And who creates karma? People. People do it themselves. Such love may be deep and passionate in this life, but it can also have rather gloomy and even tragic roots in the past ones. Perhaps they had been hatred, violence, unfulfilled promises, fateful woes, or the use of dark spells. All of those things create heavy, dark karma. Those two meet again and again in yet another incarnation, and such love brings a lot of torture, suffering, and pain. It also creates a chance for one or both of them to make things right and learn and understand the lessons they failed to learn in past incarnation. Wait a minute, I said, fully realizing what he had been just saying. So you have nothing to do with that? You, as you said, are a servant of karma. So it turns out to be people themselves create the preconditions for your appearance in their life. But why do they always try to blame you and only you for everything? Because it's easier. It is easier to dump your guilt onto someone else than to admit your responsibility. They blame me for everything in the world, but I'm used to it. As I said, I have many shadows. I make people look inside, deep into themselves. I make those two experience such a depth of passion and sensual pleasures that it becomes both their blessing and their curse. I will stop at this. It's not the end of this chapter. The conversation continues, but this is just a little part, of course, on my book, which somehow people keep on stealing from me and publishing under their own names and different names and taking credits of it. Maybe it's a part of fame, as they say, part of being someone who wants to be, people want to be you, people want to take part of your work and show it as their own. I think it's not honest, but maybe, I just, I'll let a mother karma deal with that. And this is all I wanted to share with you. And maybe, as always with this video, I managed to give you some answers to your questions. I will talk to you later. The link to my book, as always, you will find in the description box, or you can just find it on Amazon by my name or by the name of the book. Thank you again. I will talk to you soon. Namaste.